We're going to be running the gauntlet today. For OXG, they're just going to be skating by. But there are obviously some benefits of finishing first or second. If OXG wins here, they set themselves up in excellent spot. They play SSG later today. So no matter what, both of these teams will adorn your screen later on. Soniqs, a target ban against OXG. Fox A has been playing that Brava a lot. However, OXG have also been playing Border a lot.
True.
4 of the 5 matches that OXG have played up to this point have been on Border. Do OXG run Brava on Clubhouse? We have no idea. They've never played this map in the NA League. They have never played this map in an official contest with Brava being available. So this could just be a shot in the dark for Soniqs.
Yeah, but I like them paying their respect to it because we have been wondering as casters, when are people going to target ban OXG and Fox A on this particular operator, because Fox A is the #1 Brava player, and OXG the #1 Brava team as well. Here it is. Final round will be solid, so again, information really being important with both the Valkyrie, the Solids, and the Brava off the table. Hibana, just kind of standard cookie cutter operator ban.
And who was the operator that Fox A was playing somewhat on Border? Solus. So they have, for some reason, decided to target Fox A specifically, which is why I think he's smirking.
I was gonna say, he's gonna smirk and he knows what's up. But I think you brought a great point forward, Parker, where this is Clubhouse. Like, we could see completely different operators being played from OXG, from Fox A, and also they're starting on attack, so at least the Solos ban won't come into effect immediately, but of course, the Brava one might if they planned on using it.
This is the real question, right? Because if you look at some of these operators, they are not universally applied. Is Brava an operator that you're going to see on every single map? No, probably not. I mean, Brava obviously has immense value on a map like Clubhouse. Let's take a look at this bomb site right now. Gym and bedroom. One of the first things that a lot of teams are going to do is they're going to extend outwards to cache CCTV. They're going to reinforce the CCTV wall, and they might put down mute jammers, they might put down Mozzie Pests, they might put down bandit batteries, Kaid electric claws, whatever you may see.
Yeah.
A clutch drone renders most of that useless. If you were going to hold out inside of cache, maybe you don't want to hold CCTV, you use those 2 cache walls. Same thing. Not uncommon for a Kaid to play in that spot, depending on the team. It is a bit of an older strategy, but it still pops up from time to time. Again, a single clutch drone, getting rid of that electric claw. Same with a Twitch drone.
Yeah.
Twitch drone probably does it better, but you still got some versatility there. And then you can also use your secondary clutch drone over towards Logi, or even over towards Jacuzzi.
One thing that Clubhouse is, wait, are they gonna rush him from, no, okay, I thought for a second there, he's about to go crazy, but actually, Dream still aggresses forward. Beautiful pre-fire.
And he gets the very first pick, walking in. Geo has had a really rough start to this North American League. In fact, all 3 of the bottom 3 players right now are former TSM players. Achieved as the lowest rated player in the NA League right now. Geo 2nd lowest, Merc 3rd lowest. So, a bit of an adjustment. I mean, also turn around and look at the fact that Bolo doesn't play.
Yeah.
Geo's been on SQ for a little bit, so he's not a hardened former player. Chala doesn't play anymore. Snake and Gasher are not on teams. So,
True.
Rough start for those TSM boys finding a new squad.
It was a great, beautiful early aggression from OXG. It seemed like they were thinking about fully committing, but Dream just saying, just let me handle this one. Sweat out with the 2 EMPs, denies both the exterior and internal wall of Jacuzzi and bathroom. And it's opening things up and 4 Soniqs close to the bomb site, but Gunner enters back. Sweater out for the count. That's the Thatcher off the board, but the breaching has already been done, so those EMPs are not needed in this round anyway.
Yeah, his job in terms of utility is done, but you don't pick up Sweater to just solely be a utility player. The reason why he was sought out by OXG was because of how formidable he is in these engagements. He's a great mechanical player. Hasn't been so far through the NAL, same as well. They've relied a lot on Newers to get this done. Look at these nades.
Oh my God.
They're clearly not opening things up for later in the round. They're trying to get the common spots and have just not really been able to do it. Good evasion tactics from Soniqs.
Blind nades, no drones to follow up, so they're just kind of guessing where the members might be located, but Yakon's main stairs is very far forward. They could start hitting the bomb site very shortly, but Dream leading the charge, and that's Jacuzzi breach.
While Geo is dead, those evil eye cams are still going to be present, giving information. Same with the Banshees that are up, providing they haven't been fully destroyed at this point. Fox A taking out Rexon, who decides that maybe a roam later on is a good idea. Down goes Dream to a team kill from Newers. Answers back by taking out Citizen. Gunner had been damaged earlier on. He needs to go for the reload. He's in a rough spot. Grixer lurking, as we've seen time and time again. Catches one, makes his presence inside of construction known. There's no coverage whatsoever. Grixer might be the hero, and indeed he is. Criticize him for not being on site all you want, but there's no call from OXG as to where Grixer is coming from, and he gets those final 3 kills.
And one big question that Desk was talking about before this match is where would Soniqs be without Grixer? And just looking at that first opening round, well, they wouldn't have won that without him. It is peculiar to me that OXG chose to stick to plant knowing that the member inside of construction was running towards them. And that was Grixer. And he gets that 1v2 clutch for his team. But that was, looking top-down-wise, a 1 round for Oxygen until that clutch happened. Soniqs, sometimes, you know, you just need one man to do it all, but it's not a consistent or not a reliable way to play. I will say, however, Soniqs have had mixed results so far in this first stage of NAL, but their best showcasing, arguably, was when they played Clubhouse previously. It was a 7-3 victory against Parabellum, and I do believe that at least for the attacking side of Soniqs, so not where they are currently, but where they will be later, they seem to benefit when they go to their ABCs. The simple style of siege where you kind of go through the motions and everybody has a very clear role and a very clear job in the rounds, and they struggle more when they're allowed a lot of freedom, like when they play Border. So I do think Soniqs going to Club against OXG is a great look for them. They just need all 5 members to work on the same page to get that victory.
The same thing that happened against OXG in their match yesterday, if you recall. On that Border game, we were watching them play. Remember, they lost that first, or they won the first round to Mirage. They probably shouldn't have won. Why? Because of the way that they worked in the final moments of the round.
Yeah, the Dream Newers 2v5, basically.
And now, not the same thing, but pretty close to the same thing gets done to them.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I guess we can also kind of bring up that there was actually an unfortunate team kill that happened. Newers took out Dream on that Jacuzzi breach as he entered, and sometimes it's, you know, it's a game sound thing where you hear someone behind you, you go for the flick, you hit the hit, unfortunately, and sometimes it's a teammate. It does happen, even though it
was a misinput.
Yeah,
it was a misinput. It was a misinput.
One of those, yeah. No roam here from the side of Soniqs. They're all playing downstairs on the side. Of course, they got a relatively comfortable situation downstairs with the keeper barriers, the Mossy Pass, the Warden. The only thing is, Citizens already used 1 C4, so they only have 1 in pocket. It's going to be on Grixer, on the Warden. That's important for Plant Denial later on, of course, so for that verticality inside a kitchen that Foxy could begin shortling the buck.
You know, prior to really diving into the stats,
Okay.
Okay, there's a running man right there. You wouldn't have guessed that Sweater is the lowest rated player on OXG.
No.
But he has been.
I mean,
I wonder if adding, there we go. It was, to be fair, I didn't think he'd be able to make it through that.
Dream's been stealing, well, quote-unquote stealing a lot of kills as a support player, right? He's really been finding his individual strides in this first stage.
And Yaga coming back onto the team is going to change things up as well.
Yeah, of course.
He's not going to slot into Vert's roles perfectly. It might require some small tweaks and changes. So first bit of action involving Sweater, who we were just talking about, at the bottom of main stairs. And he gets out of there very quickly. He's slippery. He's very, very slippery. Soniqs right now taking a lot of damage. Rexen reduced to a tiny bit of HP. Citizen dropped to almost half.
Yeah.
Sweater lost some HP too, so.
That's gonna say a bit of off-pace play from OXG where they kind of speed things up and slow things down again, forcing out toxic vapes, and they're kind of just fishing for gaps in the defensive side, but Soniqs, they're playing a tight net right now, not exposing themselves to any of these gunfights.
Yeah. Newers will follow up on that. He's got one trapped down inside of blue by the barbed wire. He's gonna make a ton of noise. He's got their attention. Out goes a nade. Maybe try to pop him out, but the ADS will eat it. Soniqs fire back. 2 very quick kills. OXG choked out at the bottom of main stairs, watching the smoke go in front of them. Yaga taking down Grixer, traded back. Soniqs have left just Yaga as last man standing. They know he's at the bottom of main stairs. And down he goes. Yaga gets a kill. The team's clearly unhappy with the server conditions. That's fine, but Soniqs win 2 in a row.
Yeah, that they do, and a very convincing second round of that. They just, again, didn't really have to do much. They didn't roam, or at the very least, they fell back very early. And then OXG, a little bit slow on the attacking roam clear, and then they did a tiny amount of verticality, just sprinted down main stairs. They hit that Moto and Church wall breach with Dream on the ace, and then they hit the blue with 2 members, but it didn't really work out, didn't win their gunfights. And Soniqs, they actually played together in union that round, really covering one another on those different angles. Neuro said, I shot you at least 30 times.
I mean, we did see Fox 8 travel
We did a couple
without
times,
moving
yeah.
properly, yes.
But that's the thing, like there's also a chance that what the spectator kind of shows, so there's a desync, and like what he sees might be different, because from my perspective, it looked like Neros was like pretty far off the target actually.
Yes.
Which is not common for him. Odds are, maybe with a little bit of server desync, that could be the case where he was on target on his screen, but they didn't connect.
The thing that's worth noting is that we talk about what we see.
Yes.
What
of
we
course, yeah.
observe, what is present in front of our eyes, and we react to that unquestionably.
Yeah.
Like, we don't think, oh, is it possible that this happens? We just see it, we talk about it. That's
Yeah.
it. We try to leave speculation out as much as humanly possible, but there are times where what the server sees is not entirely accurate to what actually happens in the game. So we can call something, but the problem with that is that if we call based off of incorrect or, you know, not the full picture, incorrect information, people could then turn around and be like, oh my God, look at what just did, like Newer just like lit up this person, blah, blah, blah. But in all reality, that's not what happened. Sometimes we just, it's important to remember that not everything that you see is actually what's really happening.
Just like birds aren't real.
That's correct. They are government surveillance devices
Yeah.
that are put around the world, designed to keep track of you.
Yeah, that's true. Because we've never seen a baby bird. Never, ever.
I mean, I've actually physically seen baby birds, but the thing that you
Have you touched it?
That's the best part. Have you ever actually held a bird? I would wager that probably 90% of people in the West would say, no, I've never actually physically touched a bird.
Yeah.
Maybe 90 might be a little bit high, but 80%?
Not honestly. I mean,
You only need like 3 to 5% of people to dive into a controversy for it to really take off.
that yeah, actually, or just like a very loud minority essentially.
It looks like Jesse is an avian enthusiast. Jesse, birds aren't real.
Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Are birds real, Jesse, yes or no? Jesse
Yeah.
thinks they're real.
Damn, with 2 thumbs, he's very confident.
It's the big bird agenda.
Got any stats to back it up, Jesse, or just? Oh, he does apparently. Okay.
He's got the numbers figured out for these birds. It's like whenever you see like a dead bird on the side of the road, you're like, government surveillance device down. One less thing to watch me, you know? For those that might be unfamiliar with the birds aren't real thing that we're referencing, it is a joke.
Yes.
It was started amidst, I don't really want to dive into it, but another set of disinformation that was circulating during a potential pandemic, and it was designed to show how easy the proliferation of deliberately incorrect information is and how quick people are to buy into things without thinking critically. And it is a joke. The people who run it are aware that birds are in fact real. But I have a shirt that says birds aren't real, so they like to make fun of me for it. That's why people are wondering why this got brought up.
It is quite. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, Jesse's bringing something over. All right, so Jesse is showing us from the Smithsonian magazine that says an estimated 50 billion birds populate the Earth, but 4 species reign supreme. I mean, that's
How does that prove birds are real?
it's this big, yeah, that's just populate the Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, the government populates them, Jesse.
Yeah, they sent them out.
The
They
government,
built
of
them.
course, the government creates different types of birds. If every bird looked the same, you catch on. Duh. Think about it.
Oh
That's
my
cool.
god.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
When people are like, oh, it's deja vu, our producer just said deja vu is actually a perspective of a government surveillance device, aka a quote-unquote bird that you've seen before. It's genius, really, when you think about it.
Damn. We just keep on digging deeper.
But that's the thing with this kind of conspiracy theory thing, is that every single piece of advice that actually disproves the conspiracy, like objectively disproves the conspiracy, you can just turn around and be like, well, of course that's what they want you to think.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Of course
it's
that's
that
what they want
easy.
you to think.
It's like that
You're telling me the moon's not really made of cheese? Have you ever eaten the moon? How do you know what it's made out of? I digress. We're back in game. Let's get things underway. 2 rounds in.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Oh, we're seeing a CCTV defense. This is a rare commodity these days. You know, this is one of those, we gotta really take it in fully when we see this once in a blue moon. Now, there is this kind of...
Did you say moon?
Yeah, the moon that made of cheese, that one. Master bedroom defense on chalet, CCTV defense here on Clubhouse are 2 bomb sites that will, for no particular real reason, will just go in and out of trend from one month to another, where nobody plays the bomb site and then everybody plays the bomb site. We're not talking about after a patch or an operator release necessarily. It's just like, it just happens to be. Now, of course, operator bans, they do play a factor in this, but I would typically go in this setup and say, well, Thatcher's open, Maverick's open, playing CCTV seems like a bad idea for a defending team, so obviously Soniqs, they say, we disagree. We don't care about the operator bans. We don't think that it impacts it that much in this particular scenario, and they have done a good job at picking the operator selection for defense. They got both the Wamai and the Jaeger and the Asami. Those three operators can just lock down that garage catwalk rafters completely with those simple three operators, and then all you gotta worry about really is how the attackers are going to approach that master bedroom jacuzzi side if they want to hit that construction wall, and that's where we can see people roaming or extending out.
Oh, that...
Close.
They lost the exothermic and the second Selma from that. That is huge value from the impact grenade of Rexen.
He risked it all, almost died to it, but he stays alive.
I mean, again, that's immense value.
No, it's worth it for sure.
As it stands right now, you cannot walk in through that breach.
No, you gotta vault in. And that is like the worst place to be in, and is having to vault through a breach like that. You're mid-animation, you can't really fight back, you can't just back out, you gotta turn around to vault back outside the breach again. You see Soniqs, as I said earlier, extending that roam to the office and master bedroom side, but the call might have been made that because they got that successful impact trick, that they don't have to roam for their lives anymore because the breach was not successfully opened as it is that vault.
I'm not gonna say something that's gonna get me yelled at by people who are gonna be like, what a stupid thing to say, but those impacts from Rexen are almost as significant as the first pick. When it comes to the bomb site, hello, Newers, silencing Grixer and Citizen. Gunner answers back, but the damage is already done, and OXG, despite having some difficulties getting that breach open, they have done a tremendous job just narrowing down the off-site players. There's still one more, but because you have an advantage, you can stick somebody in that position. Gunner doesn't matter. It was Yaga there guarding against him, and he's good as dead. Soniqs answering back. Gunner's got yet another. What is this? Who is this? Gunner has been unleashed.
That's Gunner saying, I'm him!
And they're already typing in the chat. OXG mental on the rocks. Look at Grixer. He's fired up. Same with Gunner. 3-0 for Soniqs. Once they've started typing in the chat, they're winning a part of that game that you can't get back. Just ask DZ yesterday.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, mental warfare certainly is a thing. And did you see Gunner's clip on Twitter when he got like the Ying Forkian border earlier in the, I guess it was last week or something?
Yeah, they were all sitting ducks.
He was like yelling like, I'm him, I'm crazy. And the comments were really, they were flowing for Soniqs. And Demo kind of broke that down on the segment earlier on the telestration where he said, Soniqs' biggest difficulty, at least from an outside perspective, as also that we gained from the player interview after the one yesterday, seems to be their communication and their comms. And the rounds that Soniqs have won so far against OXG doesn't really come down to communication, maybe on the basement bomb side, but how well they covered each other, sure. But in round number 1, it's Grixer clutching a 1 versus 2 with arguably the round that was lost. And in round number 3 that we just witnessed, it's Gunner just going for a flank and finding 3 isolated individual kills that then save Soniqs in that round after Newers got that great 2K to open things up, shutting down Citizen and Grixer on that roam. So Soniqs, they're looking great in that 3-0, forcing out OXG's timeout, all is good and well, but they're not winning because they've fixed their weaknesses necessarily, but they are really showing up individually. And sometimes that's enough, at least for these individual best of ones. In a best of 3, it would be a bit more concerning. And I mean, they're defending. The big question mark for Soniqs is going to be their attack inside once they go there. If they can build like a 5-1, 6-0 lead or something like that, they are allowed to make mistakes. They can afford to.
Rotation continues the same. We don't see that bar stage show up just yet. Back upstairs to Jim. Soniqs will go. They were locked out of every bomb site but this gym bomb site upstairs, and then of course bar stage, because they have recently won both Church and Cash. OXG burning their timeout is a concerning sign, to say the least. You really need to get something going right now because the guns on OXG have just been so quiet, even before the rehost, as you're probably aware that while it's 3-0, there's only 1 death present for most of these players. It's because of the fact that, well, there was the rehost. It's not just, they didn't just win rounds with everybody living. There was no peace treaty signed. Either way, OXG having some serious struggles. when it comes to the killing department. And frankly, despite the fact that OXG have played all of these matches and are first, they haven't played anywhere near the same amount of rounds as Soniqs have. In fact, all the players of Soniqs, except for Geo, are above 40 kills. Only 2 players on OXG are above 40 kills. So, OXG, far more efficiency when it comes to winning their matchups. Not really a lot of efficiency in this game. Even if they win 7 rounds in a row, that means that 10 of 12 rounds will need to be played. That's a much deeper game than we know and expect from OXG.
No, it is. I mean, of course, the pressure's been building up as well. Just like this swing between the 2 members, but nobody really takes it. Zio, though, takes a ton of damage.
That's a nade.
Mobile charge lost.
It's always scary playing on site because you're never quite safe with Neurers down below, any nade operator for that matter of the Iana.
Now back in round number 1, the linchpin for Soniqs was Grixer. He was the one keeping everything together by roaming, and I like that OXG have made that change. They posted somebody up watching that hatch in construction because Grixer is still there. He's still inside of construction. He can drop through that hatch at any point in time. You put Newers in that spot, he's watching Cash, he's watching that CCTV door.
Ooh.
This nade might actually collect onto the remainder of Geo. Oh, it's Citizen instead. He changes course at the last minute, but Newers gets picked off by Gunner. Rexit is also dropped. He's looking towards pool table. Just narrowly missing out on Yaga. They were so close to one another from down below. Nade goes up onto the stairs. Gunner avoiding it. Hasn't died since coming back from the rehost. Swings the jacuzzi breach. Sweater picks off the remainder of Geo. Gunner losing some HP as he'd swung that jacuzzi breach as well, as we talked about. He's safe for the time being. Dream panicking and shooting at the wall. It looks like OXG don't really have the level of confidence to attack this bomb site, despite the numbers advantage. And look at that! They don't clear out Jim at all. Grixer is still in there, shutting down Dream. Another one will follow up. Grixer can swing onto this. He has information and drops Yaga to the ground. Same bomb site, almost the same result. Grixer looking for a 3K to put a little bow on it. He sees the barrel of the gun, but he gives his position away. Will now need to go for a reload, gets swung over. He has information. It's Foxe and Grixer in a 1v1, but there's no time. He's the hero yet again. Grixer does it 2 rounds on the same bomb site. Soniqs are up 4-0. They cannot be stopped.
And that's after a tactical timeout by OXG, and they do not look comfortable or confident whatsoever. They're like tiptoeing into bomb site, back out, not really playing together. Dream, Soul on the breach, walks in, Diffuser on the ground, Red's pings are going out constantly. They have nades, they have map control, they had time to clear out all those pieces of utility, yet they didn't. It almost seems like OXG, they just want gunfights, but at the same time, they don't really take them when they're presented. The Soniqs, they punish it. Grixer in particular, of course, winning 2 out of 4 rounds on the same bomb set of Jim. Phenomenal stuff for him. He is not slowing down whatsoever. He just keeps on roaming around. He gets so much freedom in these rounds. He's running back and forth, never really standing still, and just taking the fights. But of course, it's all down to information. Those red pings, he had basically the UAV activated. He knew where all the members of the attack were. He could take those 1v1s comfortably, and knowing that he could just prone behind that bathroom, toilet seat, if you will, and just play time.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Capcan being brought now from Citizen, hoping that maybe the Gadget can get some kills on the board. Hasn't looked too hot for him as of yet, even before the rehost. It's gonna be, an early shot down onto Rexen. Of course, that's Jaeger, so that gadgetry already placed down. The barbed wire or bulletproof camera as well. It's not the biggest loss in terms of operator, but of course you are playing this round 4 versus 5 if you're Soniqs.
Loading new magazine.
Still not seeing that stage bomb site.
Not at all.
I don't think it'll show up. This rotation has not been moved at all, and I mean, why bother? Soniqs are winning pretty much everywhere, all over the map.
Much faster pace for them as well. Blue hatch open at 2:10. Previous basement attack round was about 1:30.
This was the big stumbling block for OXG, though. Newers attempted to clear it out from Oil Pit, couldn't do it. You also had Foxe open it up inside a stock. Maybe he could help affect something. No, could not do it as well. Newers will attempt blue in a very different direction now, going down secret stairs, blue stairs, instead of going through Oil Pit.
Adam. It's Adam Stairs.
Adam spot
That's a throwback.
when he hid before there was a staircase there.
Yeah, it was just a room, right?
It was just a room.
Yeah.
That's correct. It was just a way in, a coffin for some, not for Adam. Rexon dies, first casualty for Soniqs. OXG, a strong opening pick. You know what? This also could just come down to familiarity on this map. OXG has not played this map so far in the NA League. They're obviously experienced on Clubhouse as a team that's been around as long as they are.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just simply not as good of a map for them as they had hoped. For Soniqs, they've already played it. They played it against Parabellum 7-3. And while Parabellum have obviously had some difficulties adjusting with their new roster, it was still a nice showing from Soniqs.
No, it really was. Like that scoreline was Soniqs playing very well in Clubhouse. I remember that match myself, so.
That was Soniqs' only regulation win as well.
Yeah.
They're off to a great start, given the fact that we set the scene about how Soniqs are desperate to pick up points to avoid being in the basement, avoid going into that run that's going to happen later on in this stage. It's been a round that you said, Nick, was very quick.
Yeah, but it's slowed down significantly. I mean, now you see this on walking long hallway, look for the kills.
Why
that
not?
Down.
I mean, you've got an advantage. Dream is inside the site. Grixer will need to stop this. He has a nitro cell caught with his pants down as he tries to pull it out. Soniqs losing everybody. It's Citizen now as the last man standing, and he's boxed out of the bomb site. Inside a dirt tunnel, he can make some noise. He can do some damage. Can he secure? Not at all. Doesn't make it out of the dirt tunnel doorway. That was relatively routine for OXG in the final 15 seconds before the execute went down. We thought they were stalling out. It appeared that they were, but then they just took charge of main stairs, and they had nobody to push back from the side of Soniqs.
Yeah, they did look a little bit what's the term? Not insecure, but they weren't entirely certain of where they wanted to hit
Unsure.
the side. Oh, they were unsure. Yeah, that's the word. They were unsure of like where to approach the bomb site. They were trying that kitchen hatch verticality, but the toxic babes stopped them. They looked at that church triple one, thought we can't do that with 30 seconds left, so they were like, how do we simplify this? Let's just walk down the long hallway, open up the soft wall, and just, you know, push through dirt. And then sure, like the dirt thing wasn't really needed in the end. But as a defender, you don't know that. You never. There's a thing about dirt that's a problem for the defensive side is that you don't typically have any real information inside of dirt. And Valkyrie's banned, so that would be like your one typical operator that would give you information. So you just always have to respect that they might be in there, but you never know for sure. Basement defense once again for Soniqs, but they're gonna change things up drastically. We can see the castle, the Ella, the orcs being brought out, and all of a sudden what looked like a plant deny operator lineup from last round is now a full-on roam, fight in their face, slow them down kind of situation. This is that classic quote-unquote SSG roam base setup. Bar hatch opened up, castle barricade, pool double door, and main door double door. And then roam on all 3 floors of the map, of course that basement being the bomb site itself. And it speaks to how, because of how the hatches work, you have the connector hatch where Rexon is, you can drop down into bar hatch being open, you can drop down into basement, so you can relatively quickly go from the top floor all the way down to the bomb site again if a side rush were to be attempted by the attack inside. But OXG, they've actually answered back with a Jackal. This is going to showcase that they most likely want to clear out those roaming members of Soniqs.
Like this Jackal pick.
Attackers have located a bomb.
A sweater as well, normally on the Nuke, so it's kind of a similar lurk role. Makes sense.
Yep. This Rex and roam from above. They'll have to invest a lot to flush them out.
There's no real, like, striking point for Oxygen, though. It's like, if Sweater can find the opening here with the lurker, that's one thing, but no, oh my god, the trade! What?
Oh!
Okay.
Yaga, nice shot through the wall. Oh my goodness. A nice display between these two teams, and then of course respects being paid for each other. Soniqs come out on the wrong end of it. That's not where you ever want to find yourself, but I mean, those are befuddling circumstances.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
that's not something that you can control. I mean, that happens. It was a nice shot from both members of Sweater and Grixer, and then Rexon, that was just unfortunate. They trade back in numbers as Grixer finds Newers peeking down that blue staircase pixel position, and he says, of course. He says, yup. So not as much respect maybe being paid in that one. Newers a little bit annoyed about how he died, which of course if you jiggle ping a corner you get one tapped. That sucks. But it happens.
I really like this Ella pick here. Ella is not an operator we see very much on this bomb site.
No.
Especially not when Ella is exclusively roaming, which is what Citizen is doing. It'll be fascinating to see if he just goes undroned, because right now it looks like with 40 seconds left, there's nobody from OXG currently on flank watch. As I say that, Citizen takes a lot of damage. It's Foxay the one to do it. OXG in a very serious drone deficit as that roam of Citizen does not pay off. Yaga punishing him, leaving the final 30 seconds into a 3v2 favoring OXG. They decide to rush down main stairs, walk that diffuser in and get the plan off. Geo is the first and only line of defense in that same position. Gunner's on the other side of the bomb site, sees a nade go back, and he's making it work! Gunner does it huge again! Geo gets the final pick, but that was all Gunner. Goodness gracious, OXG's momentum blunted. Gunner is delighted, and the first half goes to Soniqs 5-1.
Oh my god, I mean, there's so many unfortunate things happening in that round, from how Rickson got wallbanged, the trade, the Citizen with that kind of weird flank where he got out alive when he tried to get back to bomb site, realized they're on the blue hats, can't go back, he swings back into lounge. A little bit unnecessarily taking that early fight with 20 seconds left on the clock. Could have waited inside of blue perhaps to slow things down further, or maybe prevent that hatch drop that happened later on. But again, the individual performance from Soniqs just keeps on showing up. Sometimes it's Grixer, sometimes it's Gunner, but there's always someone doing it. Now the big test comes to Soniqs, the attack inside. Now they have to make all the first moves, all the first decisions, and it's on a map that is quite literally known to be the ABCs of Rainbow Six Siege. Get the right bridge in the right order at the right time, covering the correct angles, you will almost guaranteed win every single attack around the clubhouse, because strategically, this map favors the attackers. If you do a clean, correct execute, you are more than likely to win the round. Of course, this is an FPS game. You can just die, get swung, etc. Things happen that are out of your control to an extent. But I would definitely say that the pace will be controlled by the attack inside more often than not.
It's a really good display of the star players so far as well. That last round is like a perfect encapsulation of the first 5 in regards to what these mechanically gifted players are capable of doing. And I will just say this. I try not to reference social media all that often in our cast because A, I think it dates the cast, but B, not everybody who watches this is on Twitter. They're not terminally online. So they don't see the chatter that goes on, but Gunner has been receiving an extensive amount of flack ever since SI for his performance on this team. It is nice to see him with a bounce back here.
No, I mean, it certainly is, and it's not just this game either. Like stage 1 from so far, he's had some great games, like that border game earlier that I mentioned when he was playing Ying. He's had great moments, and I think for his own mental, it's been needed.
Obviously, we are missing the first 2 rounds in which we rehosted.
That's true.
But coming into this matchup, Gunner had 44 kills and 45 deaths, so pretty much dead even, which on a flex role like he plays, and as you can see, he's now currently playing this secondary hard breach. Hold on a second here. Yaga's been downed on main stairs.
There's a master bedroom deep angle, it must have been, the top floor.
He gets away in time. And is recovered. But yeah, no, what I was saying about Gunner is on his roll, he hasn't really been free to be the player that maybe Soniqs needed him to be, right? When at the time you had Kansan, Rexon, and Gunner, those 3 very aggressive players that are all going to be spearheading your offense. Then you pick up somebody like Citizen, who might not play a direct style of attack. In a lot of ways, he does lurk. Grixer's been lurking a lot too. You end up with kind of this bottleneck of where do you put a player, and
Yeah.
it can take a while for somebody like Gunner to adjust to new roles and settle in there. Now, obviously, there's a system that Soniqs uses. Who's good enough to get them, what, top 4 in Yanshiping?
Yeah. This could be.
Oh, Gunner getting the read. We talk about him. And then the boy just done showed up there, Nick, you know? Geo taking some damage from above. He's got a very important job as he holds onto that diffuser. You do not want him to die. It could effectively freeze the nitro cell, or freeze the diffuser. The nitro cell does take him down. Gets picked back up by Grixer.
It's an important kill because the hatch, I mean...
Is the hatch still closed?
It's closed, yeah.
But Gunner's just in the site. Gunner's deciding, hey, I might not be on Ying, but I'm going to fry him anyway. He gets downed by the damage over time from the Goo Needle. Not something you see every single day. That prompts OXG to take from above. Foxay makes it work, but he can't stop Grixer. Soniqs, they want out of the basement, and they are ascending the stairs multiple steps at a time. They're on match point already. It's 6-1 over OXG.
And again, it's Gunnar saying things are not progressing at the speed that I would like. I'm gonna walk through third tunnel and just try and make something happen. The C4 taking down Geo really stalled out that execution take. Hatch being close for a long time. Verticality not really being done in the arguably correct order to allow Geo the freedom to start working the Hatch and shut down Foxy downstairs. He was feeling that mute with the C4. Did a ton of damage and a kill.
Locate and defuse bombs.
And now this is where things get dire for OXG. Match point 1-6, and you got 4 bombs that you can choose between, but you gotta win basically all of them, and some more than just once to go into overtime. There's no room for mistakes now, and of course, if you're OXG, there is, I mean, for all teams, I mean, there's a bit of pressure now coming to this, because all of a sudden, the results today define a lot. Every single play that you have so far, of course, you're building points up to get in that top 6, top 4, top 2 etc. position to give yourself a spot for the future. But when it comes down to the final play day, when this is where things get solidified, sometimes players might feel just a little bit extra amount of pressure, and sometimes it benefits teams because they show up when pressure is there. Sometimes you crumble a little bit under it. No OXG, for reasons that are unknown to us, just don't look that confident right now. Could be the map of Clubhouse, could be for many reasons, but either way, this is not the showing that anybody expected from them, given how well they've played the last 2 weeks.
This is a team that came in first place.
Yeah.
They only have a single loss in regulation, which prompted obviously some people to be a bit stunned, and it was all 12 rounds against Parabellum, where OXG was on the wrong side of a 7-5. It was a big win for Parabellum. They're going to need some more today if they want to try to move their way out of the bottom 2. But the problem is if their opponents are also winning, they can't quite make up that ground. In a lot of ways, when you get to the very final day, your fate is no longer exclusively in your hands. You need your opponents to lose because you can win all your games, but if they do the same.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and that's the worst place to be in, and that's why, as I said, every single match matters, because early on, you build those points to get out of that position later on, and Yok almost gets taken out by that nade from downstairs, but having 1 HP it's enough. You're still alive. You're upright, and Citizen actually doing the flex right now, playing some Sledge, playing some Ying. Stun comes out, Candela follows through, and that's going to prompt actually to fall back, but the catch is there.
Oh, and they're losing this yet again. The Candela is proving to be so effective, not in the hands of Gunnar. This time, Ying being driven by Citizen. That's control of red stairs. The off-site players flushed out. Now OXG with 3-5 scoreline. Ooh, boy, they need to consolidate, and they need to consolidate quickly. They are losing their grip on this matchup, and a 7-1 is coming in a hurry.
It is. The thing is, Soniqs, honestly, they're not quite slowing down, but also OXG, they're not really doing much to stop them. They're barely fighting back. I mean, they were running for their lives in that round for the 2 deaths.
This is not a bomb site where you can just sit and wait to fend off a 3v5. You need to get active, because if teams still have the tools, which they do, Citizen has 3 Candelas and 2 flashbangs. There's still a Selma from Rexon to open some things up if they need to. Flashbangs from Geo. There's still a concussion from Gunnar. There's still a nade from Grixer. Soniqs still have so many tools at their disposal. OXG need to get active.
Yeah, but at the same time, Soniqs, they're just sitting back. They're not giving them those activation points whatsoever. And they got the mirror window. Sure, you're comfortable, but Sweater, you gotta do something with that.
You almost play to not lose at a certain point, and that's not how it works. You need to be more active, as you point out. There's a Candela to go into B. It looks like it blinds Sweater, but hard to tell. Offside is Newers. He's taken down 1. He's got a second adversary in his sights. A vault in, and OXG might have known something that we didn't. Citizen taken down in the bomb site as well. OXG hitting all of their marks, but guess who it is? It's the man of the hour. Grixer knows this site well. He's good enough for a single kill. Rexon will need to win a 1v2. OXG fighting to stay in this, and it looks like they're going to get it done unless Rexon can find 2. No! Only a single kill. Not a sense of relief on the faces of OXG. They've got a mighty hill to climb, but they start with baby steps.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about that round that I think is absurd to think about is actually that Lesion, of all operators, It did so much damage, and I don't mean damage in the physical sense of like the health bars was taken down, but I think 4 out of 5 members of Soniqs actually hit a goo mine in that execute stage. That means they can't sprint, they're slowed down, of course, they got slight visual impairment with that animation on your screen, and if you want to do something, you gotta stand still to pull out for like 1.5 seconds, you also can't plant down the diffuser. So it slowed things down, made things complicated. All of a sudden, Neurus finds a kill on a 2. Round of all of a sudden goes to OXG.
I'm a bit surprised. Did Citizen not follow up on the blind onto what I believe was Sweater inside of weight room?
No,
He threw the Candelas in, but Citizen was in the site, remember? He was
I was gonna say.
He was in the middle of master bedroom.
So he flashed through gym window, then jumped in through master bedroom window. So, and also the timing was there because Sweater was playing by the mirror window in the bathroom hallway. The moment Citizen gave up the angle to throw in the Candela, Sweater pushed into it, unknown to him there was like gonna be a Candela pop in there. But Citizen was like, oh, gym is clear, no one's reacting to it. I'm gonna go into master bedroom instead. So a lot of like unfortunate timing for some, lucky for others, but a mismatch for Soniqs because they only could really approach the bomb side from the window jump-ins. And as we know, whether it's a Frost or a Goo Mine or just members holding the jump-in ready to take down that kill, it's not the best way to go in. You want to go in through a door if possible, the bomb side breach, but of course, the mirror window being there and Sweater being on it stopped them from doing so comfortably, and that was enough for Oxygen. It was a close round regardless, came down to a 1 versus 1. Another great impact trick on that CCTV breach in this basement. Rome shuts down the Selma breach from making any entry points. Just a small line of sight. Gunner is downstairs on the Maverick looking for a kill. He's good enough for it. The Sami, it's Sweater done and dusted again early on.
Yeah, Gunner's entry on attack has been remarkable. Really, really remarkable. And he is showing up huge for his team today. Broke 50 kills not too long ago. Joining Grixer is one of the 2 players to do just that.
Grixer himself having a fantastic game. Less kills, sure, but he's won 2 rounds single-handedly, as we saw earlier.
3 players in this lobby now above 50 kills, which is quite a high watermark, given the fact that, well, we're only, what, this is the 6th game for these teams? You're averaging 10 kills a game. That's not a bad number by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all, especially given that some of these teams have only played some overtimes, for example. So in terms of round count, they could have played more as well. Gunner, because he stayed alive in that opening duel, he gets to open up the hatches afterwards. There is no Kaid on the board. It's simply done for efficiency's sake, as Grixer and Dream are not there, or sorry, Grixer and Geo are not there to open up the hatch instead.
Oh, Dream in a tough spot as he watches that ceiling above him get shot out. Took Citizen a little bit of time to get the camera, but they do it either way.
It's always risky breaking this floor as a sledgehammer block because at any moment the C4 could be flying on up, but the good thing that we know for the attacking team is that there are no C4s below this time.
Oh, wait, hold on a second.
He's in?
Grixer was in the bomb. Okay, and now he's dead.
He must have gone through dirt, surely. I mean, there's no other way in.
I don't think there's another way for him in. Nice shot by Gunner, absolutely assassinating Yaga. Almost gets another. The smoke will obscure the position of Dream. OXG are fish in a barrel at the moment. They're watching Soniqs slowly take up space around them and just isolate them one by one by one. But Dream's not going down easy. He is to Geo. Inside of dirt, yet another split. It puts it all up to Newers in a 1v3. He's had some heroics in the past. He's pulled this off. This is a tough thing to do, especially when you're going up against multiple players from Soniqs with the diffuser down. That's where things get more challenging. Newers has been forced out of the site. He'll have to retake. The timer working against him. Soniqs will be watching intently, but they're not going to get too active. They've looked almost clinical so far in the post plant, and it's Geo to do the work for all of SQ. They get the diffuser down, and then he picks off the final 2 kills as well. A stunning result, the 6th place team toppling the 1st, and Gunner is pumped about that. We got a long day, folks, so we're going to toss to a break very quickly and then come back.